Yeah.
Like literally, none of them are even close to each other. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Am I wrong? Am I close?
I think so.
How would you describe Marie's style on stage, Natasha?
Oh, that's a tough question.
Of course it is. That's why I asked it.
I would like to say that, like, one of the things I appreciate about Marie's style, and I was thinking of this while she was talking, is there seems to be this fearlessness, like, you know, whether you're at a mic or I've seen you at a show or something, and I don't know if it's real or if it's part of your voice, but there's this like fearlessness to say the things that you want to say, and it's not like you're trying to necessarily fit into anyone's expectations of you. You're just like out in your own wilderness, and people dig it.
And it's not forced either. It's not like forced aggressiveness. It's just like you feel it's just coming out of her.
Yeah, not aggressiveness. Just like she's speaking her truth, and she's fucking hilarious, and she's got she's smart.
So that's
fun. Yeah.
Like, are you the same person on stage as you are off stage?
I think there's an exaggeration there. I mean, I'm not even like, I'm barely 2 years in. Like, I'm not like.
I get it.
So I can't speak to that yet. I still don't know who I am, or I can even like pretend to understand. But whatever I do, I guess it works for people. Not all people, but it works. So it's, working out so far.
And you've been highly recognized. Like, all three of you have been highly recognized in this area. At some point, your names are mentioned all the time everywhere I go.
Among the open mic community,
for sure.
Damn you, Kaiti. No.
I've
seen your beautiful picture in many places
other than my post. We just want to stay
post.
humble because you never want to be the person that's like, I'm so good, and then just crash and burn. So.
Well, you don't be an arrogant dick by any means, you know what I mean? But you do need to be confident, right?
Oh, certainly.
Like, if you don't believe you're good and understand that you're good, then how good are you going to be?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I know one of my struggles as an artist or comedian daily is trying to like find that authentic or real line between, I know that I have something, I believe in it, but I know it can be better. So it's not just about humility or confidence. It's about, okay, how can this be better? What does better mean? What does it mean to me? Or do I move on?
And
great point.
Yeah.
Real quick, are you in a relationship?
No.
You are.
Yes.
You are.
Uh-huh.
Now, you're in a relationship with a comic.
Uh-huh.
Your other half is not a comic, right?
No.
Either way, like, do you bounce things off of them and like, not necessarily have to heed their advice, but do you do that just to get, and do they give you honest advice? Or honest opinions, if I will?
Yeah, so I'll do that with my boyfriend all the time. I'll be like, "Do you think this is funny?" And then he'll be like, "No," and I'll be like, "Dope," and I'll do it anyways. Like, I don't care. And he's usually right. He's usually completely right. I'll be like, "Oh yeah, you're right. That was really dumb." So I'll just. But at least I tried in front of other people. So I don't know.
And so they have someone in the house that can do that with. Do you have someone that you run jokes by it?
Oh, sure. My 3 cats. I
Yeah.
So
run things by them all the time.
If they don't start singing, then you know.
No, I mean if I'm going to try something new, I try it new at an open mic for the first time. Because I think it's so hard to just like describe an idea, or even to like, this is a joke that I've written out, let me just like say it to someone. Yeah. It's very different than if it's in front of people.
Well, of course, and with
it's
people.
Totally.
Yeah. And that's true. It's going to be different rooms. There's certain subject matter that I will only play with in certain venues. Like I've been telling, I tend to be more of a clean comedian, and I've been telling more dirty jokes. So there's like 4 places that I feel comfortable telling those jokes in, because I'm learning that I didn't know something about myself, that I come across as very like wholesome and sweet and innocent, and that's not me in reality,
right.
But I have to understand that that's how like the audience sees me. So sometimes if I say something that's maybe a little dirty, people pull back because they're like, "Ugh, I thought she was a nice girl," and
well, don't take your parents to your fucking shows. No. But I mean, so that said, like, do you focus on that, whether you're clean or dirty, or do you just Do you like ride it out no matter what?
I think it's whatever I find to be funny at the time, But that's, Marie brought up a great point. Like we're all learning at the same time, and when we're trying to discover who we are on stage, you're also discovering who you are as a person, and as women, as professionals, we're constantly evolving. So like the kind of comedy I did when I first started 3 years ago is very different from what I'm doing now, and I hope that it's completely different from what I'm doing next year even.
But that's not because you're female. That's because you're a comic.
Well, I like to think that as a woman, we go through a special journey.
we reinvent ourselves every single year. Like we are different butterflies every single year. So
we're men. We know
you're
that.
Absolutely right.
Like seriously, we've been trying to figure you girls out for a long time.
Well, it's not going to happen. So,
so then my next question is void.
We're still trying to figure out ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's just impossible to explain.
So I mean, and there's no. I feel like in the core of this community right now, there's no cattiness. Like you guys are working very well together. You appreciate each other. You support each other. You push each other. You know what I mean? And I'm starting to see more and more shows taking place with not just the same women on those shows, but an alternating vision of women on those shows.
Yeah.
And that's phenomenal to me.
Natasha had said something about now that there's more women, there's more mentorship and more networking. And I think, and this is something that like we've all sort of like talked about, in our, like when the girls get together. But when I first started only 3 years ago, there were maybe 3 of us. Natasha was still spending most of her time in Chicago, so she was only kind of down here occasionally. And when there weren't as many women, when there was only maybe one other girl at the open mic, there was a kind of like icky feeling of competitiveness. And I don't think it was necessarily coming from the female comedians, but when there's only 2 girls, everyone's comparing them.
You know, developed a relationship at that point.
Yeah.
So you still don't know each other. You know what I mean? Like,
well, and I just think that like the other comedians and the audience just see them as like, well, that's the girl comedian, and that's kind of your thing. Whereas like you've mentioned, we have very different styles. We're different people. We have different experiences, just like the boys. But you don't get to see that as often when you only ever see 2 girls. So now that you're getting to see, dozens of us, it's less.
No, it's more exciting.
No, there's less competitiveness to be the funnier girl. We want to see everyone succeed because it's better for us.
And last question before we go to a game, and this one is for you, Marie. Do you find, and if it's neither way, that's fine too, but do you find that you get better advice from the male comics or the female comics in this area as it goes? Or do one or the other give you more advice than the other?
That's a great question.
Thank you. That's what I do.
I tend to take advice from more seasoned comedians.
Period.
Just period.
Right.
But if I will ask a friend, like, who's nearest to me, like, is this funny? And if they usually say yes. But I tend, but any other issue involving comedy, I'll ask a female. I'll be like, what, a female, a girlfriend. Like, I'll be like, what's going on with this? Like, do you know? But other than that, like, just seasoned comedians, I'll ask people if they think it's funny.
Trust their opinions. Or
honestly, if you're getting paid, then you're doing something correctly, apparently. So, it doesn't matter.
We're really fucking this up because we ain't getting paid.
Yeah. No, I mean, it just, I don't know. Like, if a guy is like, that's too raunchy, I'll be like, okay, no, like, you're wrong. But I usually
double down then.
Exactly. I'm be like, okay, shut up. No.
You can't just say shut up.
Yeah, I can though, because it's my comedy. No, it's but a female centered joke, like a girl centered joke, like I'll ask like other female comedians, like, do you think this is good? But if I don't know, it just depends on the comedian.
No, that's a great answer actually, because it neutralizes the whole thing. It's like it's the person and my respect of that person and my appreciation, or want them to tell me.
Yeah.
Because I know in your field you get all kinds of feedback from idiots, from
Hecklers.
right experience, from all over the place. So you have to weed through all that shit, and what a mess, right?
Yeah.
Seriously, this shit sucks. So we're gonna play a game. When we come back, we're gonna get bra sizes. No, I'm just kidding.
I already got them.
I know Shannon's. No. When we come back, we are going to talk to you guys more about female comedy, if you don't mind. Is that okay?
Cool.
Is that all right?
All right.
Huh? We're going to talk about Matt Williams.
All right. Real news or fake news now. Maybe. Damn it. I was so good at that.
Shall we play a game?
Pop quiz.
Kevin Holly is here out there.
broke the rules. What rule?
You did it! You did it! I knew you would! I just knew you would!
Let's just do it. Let's meet this thing head on. And you were in it to win it.
Wah, 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 wah. Ba, 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 da, da. All right. It's somebody's favorite game. I don't know whose, but people seem to like it and they don't bitch about it when I play it. So the name of the game is Real News or Fake News. I'm going to give you a headline and I want you to tell me if it's based off of a real news story or a fake news story. There's no tricks except for Stan. Stan, what's the trick today? How many points is the first question worth?
5.
5 points. For 5 points, the FDA warns against using bleach to cure autism. They used it on me. It didn't work. The FDA warns against using bleach to cure autism. Is that based off of a real news story or a fake news story?
Hold on. So you have to have one incident for them to have to say this, right?
I know the answer, and it's a real story.
Were you the one?
No.
Fuck you, FDA, it works!
No.
I haven't heard this story, but I believe it because this is not the first time I've heard the FDA have to tell people not to use bleach
Not to do
for
stuff.
stuff. Yeah, like why are we trying to bleach away
Yes.
our problems?
Bleach away autism. Are you kidding me? You just shake them.
I concur with these two.
I just watched that Scrubs video today where, what was it? He was talking about Munchausen syndrome, and he's like, some people actually smother their kids. Parents don't smother your kids. And then he did the NBC PSA. Boom, bam, boom,
I
bam.
had a snorkel.
Well, she tried to flush you too. And
That shit didn't work. I'm a good swimmer.
Oh my god.
Well, you started as a sperm. You started with the flagellum.
Spell that.
Flagellum. FL. I'm not the college student here.
Who is?
Nobody. But you're college educated. You're college
See how
educated.
low she raised her hand?
Yeah.
I did
your
2 years.
That's more than I did.
It just means that I paid for something. It doesn't mean I achieved anything.
I've done that several times and it means nothing.
Yeah, I'm still paying for it.
Still part of the Hillsborough County healthcare or public school system.
So everyone says real?
Yeah.
Because you said I know it's real? How do you know it's real?
There's a cult thing going around where this guy pretty much used watered down industrial bleach, and he
It's homeopathic.
Sure. And what would happen is he would believe it to be a cure-all for everything. So mothers started to believe that it could cure their kids, so they started putting it in enemas in their children. It's really fucked up. It's a fucked up story. So that's
And
it's a really popular movement, so
Jesus Christ.
everything's
movement.
sad and terrible. Yeah, it's awful.
I knew it had to be an enema or something. I was like, it's not.
Gotta be something invasive.
It's always an enema. They're like, if you can put it up your butt, it's good for you. No, it's not.
I think
assholes.
I think that all started with the Catholic Church.
Just pray.
They don't say it in the Bible.
So you're not cleaning up your act. Is that what
We were talking about this. I've been trying.
All right, real news or fake news? The FDA warns against using bleach to cure autism. Let me hit the right button here. That, my friends,
Absolutely real.
that is a real story.
Marie, killing it.
Clark Brooks?
Next question is worth how many points?
10 points.
For 10 points. 6 senior citizens, 5 men, 1 woman arrested for sexual activity at a Connecticut conservation area.
for
Like
those who don't understand speed reading,
6 senior citizens, 6 seashells by the seashore, 5 men, 1 woman arrested for sexual activity at a Connecticut conservation area.
I hope that's real because, like, get it, Grandma.
I don't know if I hope that's
5
real.
men and 1 woman, like.